Hello and welcome back, guys. So far so good. We can click something to select it. Yes. Very nice. Now we need to be able to do this using our keyboard. Now, surprisingly, using the keyboard is a little bit more difficult because the thing is, here we are clicking with the mouse directly onto the item that we want. So it's not really difficult because the answer is already there. We already know the cell that we've clicked. But how exactly do we know which cell should be selected when I press the up arrow key, or down, or left, or right? I need to be able to know. Oh, so something actually happens. The scroll bars go up and down. So we need to have scroll lock here. This is where the scroll lock key comes in. But apparently it doesn't work anymore. Nobody programs for this thing anymore. Anyway, so what I want to be able to do is to move the cursor here to the next. It's supposed to know what cell will be next. So let's examine each cell here and what data it has. Yeah, so let me click right here. Inspect the element. Okay, so as you can see, the element here has just a class, and then it's got the column. So at least it knows what column it's on, which is very handy. Now the only thing we need to know is the row itself. On what row number is it? Yes, that's going to be very important as well, so that we know where we are, then we can know where we need to be. Now imagine this. Let's imagine I know the column name here of the selected item, right? Because we can only use these arrow keys if a cell is already selected and then we want to move to another one. So what we need to do is to check what the selected cell has, then we're going to know where to go next. So for example, let's say if we name these rows 0, 1, 2 and so on. So if I'm on this cell right here, or let's imagine this cell right here. This cell is going to be on row number 0, and then it's going to be on column number last name. Yes. So now what I need to do is to be able to find the next column. Let's say for example I press the down arrow key, down key, right? So it's going to know that down, it should remain in the same column because I'm just going downward. So it's going to look for another item that is in this column, but there are many of them in this column, right? But this one is on row 0, so it would know that it should go on the row number 1. So in this column, row number 1 should be selected. Anyway, if it doesn't make sense, do not be fiery. We are going to deal with it. Now the thing is, here on the function tBody clicked, the problem is with adding this code right here. This code is specific to selection, so this code should be inside the select function, right? And that's because when tBody is clicked, we can do many things. Sometimes it's just not the selection that we want. We may want, when we click, we want the contents of the clicked item to appear in another box here. So that's a different action that goes with clicking. It doesn't necessarily mean it should be selected. So what I will do here is get everything in here and create a new function. This function is going to be, I'm going to call it select by mouse, like this. And then I'll put the E, which will take that same E and send it to the new function. So I'm going to say function select by underscore mouse. Yes. Still, we're going to need that E, and I'll paste everything in there. Okay, so let's make sure we haven't broken anything. So click, click, click. Okay, everything still works fine. Now I want another one that says select by keyboard. Select by keyboard. Or maybe key press, something like that. I don't know, it's up to you. let's make it human readable. Keyboard. Yeah, something like that. So select by keyboard. Very good. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? Oh, there we go. Okay, okay. So right here, select by keyboard. I need to know when to evoke this. So let's go to where we have a there's a key press event somewhere. So we have this one, key press event. Key was pressed. Yes, let's look for this one right there. So here is when key was pressed. So I want to know what key I have pressed. So let's say console.log e.key. Yes. So I want it to tell me what key I have pressed so I can know what that key is called. So I'll go to the console and then now I'll press the up arrow key. Wait a minute, what's going on? Ooh. Okay, so something is going on here. Key was pressed. Where is this event listener on? It's on the window.body.key was pressed. It does know what key was pressed when I press enter, does it not? It works. So what's going on? Console.log e.key was pressed. Update cell. So how is it omitting this? I'm confused here. Genuinely confused. What's happening? Okay, wait a minute. Let me do this. Update cell. Refresh. Okay, so it's not working. So it's showing me here. You know what happens sometimes is this. Because of having external files, this is why I don't really like having external files as the JavaScript, excuse me, and the CSS. I want to work with the files inside the main file and then separate them in the end. Because what happens sometimes is that it caches these files and then you'll be there fidgeting, typing something and thinking things are not working, when in actual sense the thing just didn't reload the page. So what happens is once it loads this main.js, even though you refresh the page, it's just going to keep a cached version of this file, which is very different from what you have edited. So if you're having such problems, all you can do is put a question mark at the end and then type whatever gibberish you want. You can just type 2 letters or 3 numbers or whatever. So every time you change the contents of this side, you can put numbers and all that. It doesn't matter. For as long as you change what's here, even just 1 letter, it will be forced to reload this file. So make sure you put a question mark at the end, and then you add your random number there. If you see it caching again, just change the random number to another number, and then it will be forced to reload. That's how we do the reloading thing. So let me see here for a second. Yeah, so things aren't working as they're supposed to work. Okay, so there we go. The letters here are actually showing except for the arrow keys. So why is that? Let me clear here. Okay, so they're showing me H. Okay, wait a minute, let's go back here. Maybe it's not the fault of the caching. Maybe. Let's try key, or let me just try E there for a second before I do anything else. Let me try E. Refresh. Huh. That's very interesting. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is, let me come back to the key press here. Maybe I went to detailed here. So I'm just going to say window.add event listener. Let me remove document and body here. Let's try and simplify things so that regardless where the key is, it's still going to work. So I guess that wasn't the problem at all. Yeah, that's definitely not the problem. So it's not showing me when I press the arrow keys whatsoever. Okay, so let me undo that. Let's try a different key. Let's try key down before things actually start happening. So let's try that one. Refresh. Okay, that's much better. So you know, sometimes excuse me here. So what was going on is that, you see, when I press the arrow keys here, the scroll bar is actually moving, and it disturbs the event because it's waiting for a whole key press. When I press down and then release, by that time the scroll bar has moved. So now what I've done is I've used the key down event instead, and that's better because before the scroll bar actually moves or is triggered, the key down event is triggered. So if you're having problems with the key press event, you can try the key down or key up, in case any of those will respond much better to your situation. So anyway, regardless, let me say .key like that. I want to see what key I have been pressing here. So I'll press like, that's arrow up, that's what it's called, arrow down, arrow left, arrow right. So easy enough to remember. Just keep tabs of the capital letters here, very important. So I'm going to remove that and just put another else if statement. So I'm going to, if that's the key is enter, I'm going to say else, oops, if like that, and then close, and then else again. Yeah, this else if, usually I like to use the switch statement in situations like this, but it's okay, we can use this if statement, it's all right. Let me do that because there are 4 keys here we have to test for, and yeah, that should be the last one. So if you remember, each one of them had arrow with a capital A, and those arrow, let's start with arrow up, and then we'll change this one to down, and then this one to left, and this one to right, like so. Okay, so like that, yes. Then what we want to do is select by keyboard like that, and then in here we're going to give it a direction, right? The direction will be up here. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this and put it here. Now the reason I'm putting a direction in there is because I don't want to make a different function for moving up, left, right. I want to use the same function but just give it a different mode. So down like so. I want to use the same function, different mode. So there we go, left and then right, like so. Yeah, so all we have to do on the other side is check for one of these and we'll be golden. So let's search here, let me go down to the function right there. Okay, so we're at the function and this one should change to mode. Yes? Mode, like so. Now the important thing here is we should only be responding to a select if there is actually a currently selected cell. So how do we know that? We're just going to check in selected cells like this, and we're going to say if selected cells dot length is equal to 0, then what do? Return. We do nothing. Okay. But if this is not true, then we will continue. So how will we continue? We're going to loop through everything here and then select the one we want to select, right? So now here at the very top, first of all, let's see what the selected one already contains. And for that, we are going to have to add row numbers to everything. So let's add row numbers real quick. Yes. So let's go here where we're creating the table, and inside the table data here, on the table row itself there, we want to have numbers. And this is looping through the table rows, and this is looping through the table data. So, which means this number I contains the number for the row. Yes, because we are looping through them. So I contains the row number. So here I'm just going to go here and say insert column and then a row is equal to, you guessed it, I. So let's put a $, and I, like so. So let's see if that's actually stuck. So refresh, inspect the element, and for here you see these are all on row number 4. That's good. Let's go here, they should be on row number 3. Yes, row number 3. And here row number 0. Exactly. So row 0, column, exactly. So we have the data that we need. Very nice. So now the only thing remaining is to write a function or an algorithm that will tell us exactly what should be the next cell to be selected. Yes? So let's do that in the next video.